Introducing Mia. At just 17, her heart is failing, and it's all too real. Medical professionals indicate she has only a few months to live unless her family can secure the $20,000 needed for surgery, which they cannot afford. For weeks, she remained here, imploring passers-by, setting aside her dignity, battling back tears. Today, she stands on the brink of surrender, when suddenly a sleek black limo glides to a halt. A man emerges, his suit immaculate, gaze fixed on her sign. He doesn't merely hand her $1. He utters 3 words that transform everything. "I got your back, kid." What unfolds next? It's more than merely a procedure. It's an extraordinary event that will restore your faith in humanity. The rain poured down without mercy that Tuesday afternoon, a chilling mist that adhered to all it encountered. Mia Carter found herself on the weathered pavement at the intersection of 5th and Maple. Her sneakers were drenched, and her hoodie offered scant protection against the cold that crept into her very bones. At 17, she carried the weight of the world, feeling decades beyond her years with each subtle shift that brought a familiar ache to her chest. Her heart betrayed her, the doctors declared. A congenital defect, a valve that failed to close properly, a ticking bomb that had begun to tick more loudly over the past year. Without surgery, her mom couldn't manage to gather $20,000, even with 2 jobs. She would not reach the age of 18. Mia raised her sign with determination, even as her arms quivered from the strain. The cardboard had become damp, the black marker running into blurred lines. Seeking $20,000 for a surgical procedure. "I would appreciate your assistance." She included a wobbly smiley face at the end, wishing it could warm someone's heart. It still hasn't succeeded. Vehicles thundered by, drenching her jeans with grimy water. Pedestrians averted their gazes, umbrellas raised, focusing on everything but her. She had spent 3 weeks out here each day after school, often staying until the sun went down. The battered coffee can resting at her feet contained $47.32. Fell short. It would never suffice. Her mother, Lisa, had pleaded with her to cease. "You're only making yourself worse, darling," she had said the previous night, her voice trembling over a dish of warmed-up spaghetti. Yet Mia found it impossible to remain at home, unable to bear the sight of her mother weeping over bills, unwilling to simply wait for fate to take its course. There she stood, trembling, forcing down the knot in her throat, murmuring softly to herself, "Someone will intervene today. It is necessary for them to do so." The traffic light shifted to crimson, as a polished black limousine lingered at the crossroads. Mia hardly registered it. Luxury vehicles never paused for someone like her. She repositioned her sign, cleared the rain from her eyes, and mustered a smile for the approaching crowd. "Do you have any extra coins?" She described her voice as hoarse. Silence. Endless emptiness. Then she caught the sound, a car door closing. She turned, and there he stood, a man emerging from the limo, tall in his mid-50s, clad in a suit that likely surpassed her mother's annual rent in cost. His hair gleamed silver at the temples, his face defined yet gentle. He stood resolute, allowing the rain to drench him without a hint of hesitation or the need for shelter. He remained motionless, gazing intently at her sign, then at her. Mia stood still, caught in the moment. Was he insane? Would he raise his voice at her for pleading? She had experienced that previously. A man in a suit passionately lamenting the work ethic of today's youth. Yet this man appeared far from angry. He appeared intrigued. "Did you really compose that?" he inquired, gesturing toward the sign with a nod. His voice resonated, unwavering, slicing through the rain as if it were non-existent. Mia nodded, gripping the cardboard more firmly. "Indeed, it's meant for me." He advanced, the sound of his shoes echoing against the slick pavement. As she drew nearer, his eyes captivated her, gray and piercing, as if he could see straight into her soul. "So, surgery, is it? Which type?" "Heart valve," she murmured, her voice barely rising above a whisper. "It's unfortunate. I need it soon or—" She hesitated, the words lingering unspoken in the air. neither to him nor to anyone else. He remained steadfast, unwavering in his gaze. What have you gathered up to this point? She cast a fleeting look at the coffee can, a wave of shame washing over her. $47. And a bit of transformation. He emitted a soft whistle, not in mockery, merely taken aback. Is that all there is? How long have you been out here? She confessed it had been 3 weeks. Each and every day. He paused, silence enveloping the moment. He simply stood there, droplets of rain cascading from the tip of his nose. Mia sensed a constriction in her chest. This time it's not a flaw, merely anxiety. She was uncertain about his desires, puzzled by his concern. He then lowered himself, right there on the sidewalk. I come clean to her, my suit pants drenched in a puddle. What do they call you, kid? He inquired. Mia, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I'm Victor, he said.
Victor Hale.
The name lingered in her mind, a distant echo of something she might have caught on the news. Yet her thoughts were too clouded to pin it down. Are you by yourself out here? My mother is currently at her job. I wish to keep this from her awareness. She would end my existence. A feeble chuckle escaped, quickly fading away. Victor's lips curled slightly, hinting at a smile. She seems like a wonderful mother. Mia, let's be honest here. It's not going to bring in $20,000. Too late. Her stomach dropped. She was aware of that. She had felt it with each passing day as she remained in this place. Yet, listening to it spoken aloud hurt more than the downpour. I must give it a shot, she declared, her eyes fluttering with determination. This is everything I have. He stood tall, pushed the damp strands from his brow, and gazed at her as if weighing a significant choice. He stated firmly, not anymore. I got your back, kid. Mia's eyes fluttered open. Excuse me? I'm covering the cost, he stated, straightforward as that. The entire surgical procedure. Your time in the rain has come to an end. Her lips parted, yet silence enveloped her. She gazed at him, anticipating the twist, the reveal, the playful jest. Yet he remained silent. He retrieved a phone from his pocket, tapped it a few times, and remarked, just a moment. He spoke to someone, his tone quiet yet resolute. Indeed, it is I. Locate the top heart surgeon in the city immediately, and free up my afternoon.
Mia nis trembled unsteadily.
She rested against the street lamp, the signs slipping from her grasp, falling to the ground with a damp thud. Are you really serious? She murmured softly. Victor ended the call, slipped the phone into his pocket, and locked eyes with her. Absolutely serious. I won't let anything happen to you, Mia Carter. Not today. She found herself at a loss for words, unsure of her emotions. Her face was a canvas of emotions, tears blending seamlessly with the rain, both hot and unexpected. What is the reason? She persevered. What makes me the right choice? He shrugged, as if it were self-evident. Simply because I can. And because you're battling fiercely. That will suffice. A horn blared, the driver of the limousine growing increasingly impatient. Victor dismissed him with a wave, then crouched once more to retrieve her coffee can. He poured the coins into his palm, counted them quietly, and tucked a fresh $100 bill within. He returned it, calling it seed money. When you're feeling better, embark on something positive with it. Mia grasped the can, her hands shaking. I do not. Your kindness has left me at a loss for words. Don't, he said. Simply hop into the vehicle. We have an appointment with a surgeon. After a moment of uncertainty, she gave a slight nod. As she trailed behind him to the limo, the rain lost its chill, transforming into something almost comforting. After weeks of uncertainty, a new feeling emerged within her. Hope. The interior of the limousine was infused with the scent of leather and rain, creating a striking juxtaposition to the wet, gritty reality Mia had just departed from. She settled into the soft seat, her damp hoodie marking the fabric with a streak. She flinched, bracing herself for Victor's sharp retort. Yet he didn't even acknowledge the chaos. He was engrossed in his phone, his brow knitted in concentration, murmuring something about timelines and what mattered most. The driver, a serious man with a buzz cut, pulled away from the curb, and Mia observed Fifth and Maple fade into the distance through the rear window. Her coffee can still held firmly in her lap. She found herself at a loss for words. Her chest throbbed, not merely from the flaw this time, but from the burden of the unfolding events. A mysterious benefactor, a wealthy one at that, had just swept her off the street as if she were a precious treasure, like a guardian angel descending from the heavens. Felt surreal. She lingered in anticipation, expecting the twist, the instant he would pivot and declare, "Surprise, this is all a joke, or now you're in my debt." Yet Victor remained seated, utterly composed, as if collecting drenched teenagers and assuring them of surgeries was just another routine day for him. "To what destination are we headed?" she finally inquired, her voice barely rising above the drone of the engine. Victor lifted his gaze, those gray eyes connecting with hers. "There's a call coming in from the hospital. They've got the top heart surgeon in the city on the line. He'll be joining us there to sort this out." Mia felt a flutter in her stomach. Today, he remarked as if it were clear to everyone. "There's no reason to delay. You mentioned that it's not good, correct?" She nodded, her fingers gripping the can more firmly. "Indeed, the doctor mentioned it could take months, perhaps. Should fortune smile upon me." "You're fortunate now," he responded, a brief smile appearing on his face. "We're omitting the uncertainty." She yearned to trust him. Indeed, she did. Yet, the accumulation of years filled with disappointment, Medicaid denials, her mother's relentless overtime, and the hushed whispers of classmates about poor Mia had constructed a barrier around her hope. She bit her lip, gazing at the $100 bill that was partially visible from the can. "What is the reason behind your actions? Is that so?" Victor reclined, one leg draped over the other, his suit still moist yet remarkably unblemished. "I mentioned it simply because I can. And since you're out there battling, it takes courage, kid. Many individuals might have thrown in the towel. That doesn't provide a solution." She pressed, astonished by the sharpness in her tone. "You have no idea who I am." He remained steadfast. He appeared to be genuinely impressed. "That sounds reasonable. I have a particular fondness for those who rise against the odds. I find myself with an abundance of wealth that exceeds my imagination." He gestured toward her, the can, the situation. "I find this quite logical." It was still unclear to her, not at this moment. Just as she was about to exert more effort, the limo began to decelerate. They arrived at St. Jude's Hospital, a vast structure of glass and brick that she had only visited once, during the time when the ER became her mother's final option. Victor dashed out the door ahead of the driver, gesturing for her to come along. She hurried after him, gripping her sign tightly as if it were her only hope, the rain continuing to drip from her hood. Within, the lobby exuded an atmosphere of pristine white tiles and a sterile ambience. Victor marched up to the reception desk, demanding to see Dr. Patel with a sense of urgency. The nurse hardly had a moment to acknowledge before he was guiding Mia toward a row of elevators. He mentioned the third floor. "Patel is in anticipation." Mia felt a whirlwind of thoughts swirling in her mind. "I have to call my mom," she exclaimed. "She remains unaware of my presence. She will definitely lose it." Victor hesitated for a moment before offering her his phone, an elegant, luxurious object that seemed foreign in her grasp. "Please invite her to join us. Room 312. Her fingers trembled as she dialed. It rang twice before Lisa answered, her tone edged with concern. "Mia, where have you gone? Are you back at that corner once more?" "I'm fine, Mom," Mia replied hastily. "I find myself at St. Jude's. This person is covering the entire cost of my surgery. Are you able to join?" A moment of stillness. "So, which guy are you referring to?" "Mia, what on earth are you saying?" Mia implored. "Please just come. Please direct me to room 312. Lisa's sigh echoed softly over the line. "I'm en route. Stay right where you are." The call concluded, and Mia returned the phone, her heart racing more intensely than before. Victor observed her, a single eyebrow arched in curiosity. "She seems like a blast. She's afraid, Mia stated protectively. We have endured many challenges together. He responded with a gentler tone this time, understanding the situation. She'll realize my authenticity in due time. The elevator chimed softly, and they entered a serene corridor. Room 312 hummed with energy upon their arrival. A man dressed in a white coat, Dr. Patel, is engrossed in his tablet, while a nurse prepares a clipboard nearby. Patel glanced upward, acknowledging Victor with a nod as if they were familiar with this routine. Greetings, he uttered. Is this the girl? Indeed, Victor mentioned. Mia Carter is facing a heart valve issue that requires immediate attention. Patel's gaze shifted to Mia, precise yet not unfeeling. Please take a seat, he instructed, gesturing towards a chair. Share all the details with me. Mia sat at the brink, articulating the diagnosis she had committed to memory. Experiencing mitral valve prolapse, with increasing shortness of breath and episodes of dizziness. Patel acknowledged with a nod, jotting down notes, before requesting a swift ECG. The nurse affixed electrodes to Mia's chest, and the machine emitted a series of beeps, sketching erratic lines on the monitor. Mia observed Victor from the periphery of her vision. He lingered by the window, arms folded, gazing out at the rain as if he were scheming something grander than the confines of this room. Patel completed his task, a scowl forming as he gazed at the screen. She has a point. It is quite sophisticated. We could arrange for tomorrow if we make it happen. Are you taking care of this, Hale? Every cent, Victor declared confidently. Make it happen.
Mia esse breticht.
On the morrow, it was unfolding, truly unfolding. She felt an overwhelming urge to laugh, cry, and scream. Just as she began to comprehend the situation, the door burst open. Mia. Lisa stormed in, her diner uniform crumpled, hair tousled from the downpour. She stood still, absorbing the moment before her. A machine connected to her daughter, a man in a suit, a doctor speaking in the midst of his thoughts. What is this all about? May I ask who you are? She gestured toward Victor, her voice trembling. Victor turned, his hands raised as if to soothe a tempest. Victor, I'm covering the costs for your daughter's surgery. That's everything you should be aware of at this moment. Lisa's gaze sharpened. Utter nonsense. No one simply finances a surgical procedure. What's the twist? Are you a bit odd? Mother. Mia let out a sharp breath, her face burning with embarrassment. No, she has a valid point, Victor replied calmly. No tricks. I spotted Mia on the street, clutching a sign. Assistance is required for her. I possess the resources. The conclusion has been reached. Lisa approached, assessing him carefully. Your appearance doesn't quite convey the image of a saint. You seem like someone who has a desire for something. I recognize your kind. Affluent individuals descending, portraying themselves as saviors, only to depart and leave us in a more dire situation. Victor remained unblinking. I'm not here to take on the role of a savior. I'm here because he gestured towards Mia, deserves a chance. Feel free to look up my name if you'd like. Victor Hale, Hale Tech. I require nothing from you. Lisa's jaw clenched. She retrieved her battered phone, fingers flying across the screen. Mia observed, anxiety gripping her, as her mother navigated the search results. Tech billionaire, Lisa muttered. Financial value. Indeed. She glanced upward, her suspicion lingering. What makes her the choice? What prompts this moment? Victor paused, if only for a moment, and Mia noticed it. A fissure in his defenses. Having experienced your situation myself, he said softly. It's not about the financial aspect. It's the defeat that stings. Once I had a daughter. She was unable to succeed. At that time, the repair was beyond my means. At this moment, I am able to. That is the reason. Silence enveloped the room. Lisa's hand fell, the phone slipping from her grasp. Mia sensed a tightness in her throat. Not for her own sake this time, but for him. What was her age? She inquired, her voice scarcely rising above a whisper. 15, Victor stated, gazing down at the ground. Blood cancer. 2 decades ago. I vowed that if the opportunity ever arose, I would ensure it never occurred again. Not if I had the power to prevent it. Lisa's gaze softened, though just slightly. I'm sorry, she said, her voice strained. However, this is my child. I require evidence that this is not a fraudulent scheme. Victor nodded, retrieving his phone once more. Patel, he remarked. Inform her. Dr. Patel took a moment to gather his thoughts. Mr. Hales has already sent the deposit. Complete expense along with recuperation. The ore is scheduled for 7 a.m., the day after today. It is indeed true, ma'am. Lisa fixed her gaze on him, then shifted to Mia, and finally returned her attention to Victor. Her shoulders drooped, the determination ebbing away from her. Tomorrow, she murmured. Tomorrow, Victor assured. She will be fine. I will ensure that happens. Mia grasped her mother's hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. Lisa held back, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. All right, she replied at last. All right, but I will be with her. Each stride. Victor expressed that he wouldn't want it any other way. He took a step back, allowing them some distance, yet Mia noticed the expression on his face. Perhaps a sense of relief, or perhaps something more profound. The nurse came back with the necessary paperwork, and Patel began to outline the procedure. Mia absorbed the scene, somewhat disoriented, as Lisa filled out the forms with a quivering hand. Victor lingered by the window, a quiet observer, until Patel's hand landed on his shoulder. Until tomorrow morning, Hale. Indeed, Victor mentioned. Good morning. Mia was wheeled into a prep room for overnight monitoring, with Lisa following closely behind. Victor remained in the hallway, observing their departure. Mia glanced back, locking eyes with him. She silently expressed her gratitude. He merely nodded before vanishing around the corner. That night, Mia rested in the hospital bed, the monitor's beep finally steady. Lisa dozed in a chair nearby, her hands still clasped around hers. At approximately 2 a.m., Mia stirred awake, breathless, her chest constricted. The pain returned, more intense than ever. She reached for the call button, her vision fading, as a nurse hurried into the room. Her pressures are decreasing. The nurse spoke sharply into a radio. Contact Patel. At this moment, Mia's final thought, as the room whirled around her, was of Victor's voice. I got your back, kid. She wished he was correct. The hospital room appeared as a haze of white and the incessant beeping of machines when Mia's eyes slowly opened at 2:17 a.m. Her chest felt as if it were collapsing, each breath a sharp, shallow pain. The monitor next to her blared, crimson digits flickering, her heart rate soaring, then plummeting. Lisa stirred from her slumber in the chair, her fingers still entwined with Mia's, her expression twisting in concern as she caught sight of the fear reflected in her daughter's gaze. Mia, little one, what seems to be the issue? Lisa's voice trembled with urgency as she reached for the call button that Mia had let slip from her grasp. Assistance needed. Can someone lend a hand? The door swung open with a bang, and in rushed a nurse, short and wiry, her name tag reading Kelly, as the radio crackled to life.
BP Spleimeeting.
She shouted into it, her hands darting to Mia's wrist to feel for her pulse. Bring Patel here immediately, and gather the team, it's time to get started. Mia attempted to voice her confusion, to inquire about the unfolding situation, yet her tongue felt heavy, and her sight blurred. Lisa's face loomed above her, tears cascading down, silently forming words that were drowned out by the thunderous noise in her ears. Then additional footsteps. Dr. Patel stormed in, his white coat disheveled, eyes piercing even at this late hour. He glanced at the screen, muttered a curse, and faced Kelly. She is experiencing a setback. We're not holding off until 7 a.m. to prepare her now. Lisa seized his arm, her voice quaking yet resolute. What is going on with her? She was okay. She maintained a steady state. Patel remarked, not unkindly but with a certain directness, that she has lost her stability. Her valve is failing. We must proceed with the operation, or we risk losing her. Please have faith in me. Lisa's hold strengthened, then released. She nodded silently as Kelly and another nurse pushed Mia's bed toward the door. Mia locked eyes with her mother one final time, her gaze wide and filled with fear, yet gripping Mia's like a lifeline. "I love you," Lisa whispered, and then Mia vanished, the hallway lights rushing by in a dizzying blur. Outside, thunder rumbled ominously, as a storm gathered its strength over the city. The rain pounded against the hospital windows, while the wind shrieked as if attempting to force its way inside. In the ER prep room, the team operated with urgency, setting up 4 lines, adjusting the oxygen mask, and laying out sterile drapes. Mia experienced the sharp chill of antiseptic against her chest, listening to Patel's calm voice as he briefed the staff. Mitral valve replacement presents a high-stakes scenario, leaving no room for mistakes. Her eyelids became weighted, the anesthesia taking effect, and the final image etched in her mind was a nurse's gloved hand repositioning a light overhead. In the lobby below, Victor Hale strode back and forth, his suit disheveled from a night devoid of rest. He lingered after parting ways with Mia and Lisa, convincing himself that he would simply wait for the morning handover, ensuring everything was in order. At 2:30 a.m., the phone buzzed, illuminating Patel's name on the screen. The doctor stated bluntly, "She's crashing." Without any introduction, "We are bringing her in at this moment." Victor felt a sinking sensation in his stomach. At this moment, what transpired? Cardiac insufficiency. "The situation is more dire than we anticipated. Come up here if you're ready to witness this unfold." He was quick to act. He dashed toward the elevators, paying no mind to the surprised night shift receptionist. As he arrived at the surgical wing, he found Lisa there, leaning against the waiting room wall, her hands covering her face. She lifted her gaze as he drew near, her eyes glistening with a fiery intensity, filled with unspoken accusations. She rasped, "You said she'd be okay. You made a promise." Victor halted abruptly, the impact of her words striking him with more force than the tempest raging beyond the walls. "I know," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I continue to stand by that sentiment. Patel is exceptional. She has an opportunity. A single shot." Lisa chuckled, a sound tinged with bitterness and fragility. "Is she really dying in there? So you're discussing shots?" He remained silent. He was unable to. He settled into a chair opposite her, resting his elbows on his knees, his gaze fixed on the floor. "I've encountered this place previously," he remarked after a pause. "Anticipating, wishing. It's a nightmare. However, she is not my daughter, Lisa. She belongs to you. Share your requirements with me." Lisa shot him a fierce look, but it quickly faded as weariness took over. She whispered, "I need her to live. That concludes everything." He nodded, wordlessly, and they remained in that moment, the clock ticking away, thunder rumbling against the walls. In the operating room, Mia's chest lay open, her heart laid bare beneath the harsh glow of surgical lights. Patel operated with meticulous care, his hands unwavering as he secured the malfunctioning valve, the team surrounding him a harmonious whirlwind of suction, sutures, and the rhythmic beeping of monitors. "She lacks sophistication," a nurse spoke with a tense voice. "Heart rate stands at 140. "Push the AP," Patel commanded, his gaze fixed elsewhere. "Pressure is diminishing." The atmosphere grew heavy as Mia's heart faltered, the monitor dipping into silence for a brief moment before springing back to life. Patel's jaw tightened. "Come on, kid," he whispered under his breath. "Remain by my side." The storm outside reached its climax, with lightning illuminating the waiting room through the blinds. Victor stood, pacing once more, his hands buried deep in his pockets. In every fleeting moment of recollection, he caught glimpses of his daughter, Emily. Her pallid visage, her fragile grin, the manner in which she grasped his hand just before the conclusion. He had let her down. He mustn't let Mia down. Lisa observed him, her frustration transforming into a different emotion. Perhaps acknowledgement. "Did you truly lose her?" she inquired, her voice scarcely rising above the sound of the rain. "Indeed," he remarked without turning around. 2 decades back, affording the chemotherapy was impossible. I observed her fade into the shadows of a space like this. She remained silent, wrapping her arms more securely around herself. The silence lingered, thick and palpable, until a janitor ambled past, mopping the floor. Victor intervened. "Hey," he said, reaching for his wallet. "There's another child in this wing, cancer." I overheard the nurses conversing. "You're familiar with him." The janitor, aged and silver-haired, gave a nod. "Young child, room 305, in poor condition." Victor thrust a bundle of bills into his palm. "Instruct the desk to arrange for his upcoming treatment to be covered. Untitled. Simply take action." The man blinked slowly, then ambled away with a shuffling gait. Lisa gazed intently. What was that all about? "There's something I can do," Victor said, settling back into his seat. "As we bide our time, within the midst of the turmoil that has unfolded." "She's unresponsive." The anesthesiologist's voice pierced the air, while the monitor emitted a relentless, haunting tone. Patel swore under his breath, seizing the paddles with determination. "Increased to 200. Unambiguous." The shock coursed through Mia's body, yet the line remained unyielding. Once more, Patel shouted. Yet another surprise. Silence. 30 seconds elongated into a timeless expanse. The team stood still, anticipating. Victor's voice resonated in Mia's waning thoughts. "I got your back, kid." And then a fleeting moment. A rhythm. "Next one." "She has returned," the nurse exclaimed in astonishment. "Normal heart rhythm." Patel breathed out, his hands shaking for the first time. "Ensure her stability. Our journey is far from over." The operation stretched on for 3 hours, then 4. Patel installed the new valve, a reassuring mechanical click now ensuring Mia's survival. Yet her body was frail, worn down. "She's a warrior," he remarked to the team as they finished the procedure. "We will support her every step of the way." At 6:45 a.m., the door swung open. Patel appeared, mask lowered, face glistening with perspiration. Lisa and Victor sprang up, standing together resolutely in the face of adversity. "She has left," Patel remarked, vibrant, analytical yet steadfast. We experienced a moment of fear. Her heart paused for 30 seconds. "She's currently in the ICU, but she has made it through the most challenging part." Lisa's knees gave way, a cry escaping her lips, and Victor grasped her arm, providing support. "She's fine," she murmured. "She's a fighter," Patel remarked, a weary smile emerging. "We will keep a close watch on her, but the valve is in place. She has received a new heart now." Victor exhaled, a breath he hadn't known he was holding escaping him. "Thank you," he said, his voice gravelly. "Is it possible for us to see her?" "Just give it an hour," Patel responded. "She's under sedation and requires some time to recuperate." "Absolutely, you'll be able to see her shortly." They nodded, sinking back into their chairs as Patel departed. The tempest beyond had subsided, the rain now a gentle whisper against the panes, as dawn brushed the horizon with a delicate hue of muted gold. Lisa dabbed at her eyes, gazing at Victor. Not with doubt this time, but something akin to faith. "She accomplished it," she remarked, probing the phrasing. "She did," Victor responded, his own eyes shimmering with emotion. "You brought up an incredible child." Lisa let out a small, nervous chuckle. "Indeed, I did." 60 minutes later, they gathered beside Mia's ICU bed. She lay motionless, surrounded by a maze of tubes and wires. Yet the monitor emitted a steady beep, a mechanical heartbeat, unwavering and confident. Lisa settled next to her, gently gliding her thumb along her daughter's hand, while Victor positioned himself at the foot, observing the rhythmic rise and fall of her chest. The tempest had passed, both within and around her, and for the first time in many months, Mia's expression radiated tranquility instead of anguish. "She's going to be okay," Lisa murmured, her words directed more inwardly than toward him. "Indeed," Victor nodded, a subtle relief washing over him. "Absolutely, this is only the beginning." He emerged, allowing Lisa to maintain her watch, and hesitated in the corridor. Sunlight pierced the clouds, creating elongated shadows that danced across the ground. Mia had endured the night, the surgery, the storm. It was a hard-won triumph, one he had battled for, one that Lisa had fervently hoped for. As he surveyed the lively ward, taking in the expressions of other families in anticipation, he realized this was merely the start of a much larger journey. The tempest had subsided, yet its reverberations would remain, and perhaps, just perhaps, they would bring forth something positive. The ICU room had settled into a serene hush, the tempest now a mere echo as sunlight poured through the blinds, casting warm golden stripes over Mia's bed. 3 days post-surgery, the maze of tubes had begun to diminish. Only in 4 and a heart monitor lingered, their rhythmic hum providing a gentle backdrop to her gradual awakening. Mia's eyes fluttered open, sharper this time, the fog of sedation dissipating. Her chest ached, a dull throb where her new valve clicked away, yet there was a change in the air. Not the intense, urgent ache of earlier, but an indication that she was on the mend. Lisa settled next to her, just like she did each day, her diner uniform replaced by a nurse's borrowed sweatshirt. She had hardly strayed from Mia's side, dozing intermittently on a cot that the staff had brought in. As Mia stirred, Lisa's head shot up, a weary smile cutting through the darkness beneath her eyes. "Hey, darling," she murmured, gently tucking Mia's hair behind her ear. "You're back?" Mia swallowed, her throat parched from the ventilator they'd taken out yesterday. "Mom," she rasped, her voice hoarse yet more resilient than it had been. "I'm fine," but Lisa's laughter carried a hint of sorrow. "Indeed, you're more than just fine. You truly frightened me, yet here you are." Mia offered a faint smile, her hand awkwardly reaching to grasp Lisa's. "Where is Victor?" "Out there," Lisa remarked, gesturing toward the hall. "He's been circling like a relentless predator, making daily appearances, only to vanish again. He seems hesitant to approach us." Mia's eyes wandered to the door, a subtle warmth of appreciation enveloping her. His voice echoed in her memory. "I got your back, kid." Amidst the haze of that dreadful evening, he had honored his promise. She wished to express her gratitude to him in a meaningful way this time, yet her body felt weighed down, and her words struggled to take shape. Lisa inched forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. "He is a decent person, Mia. Initially, I had my doubts about him, yet he came through for you. That moment will always stay with me." Just as Mia was about to reply, a gentle knock echoed, and Victor entered the room. He swapped his suit for a simple jacket and jeans. More relatable, less mogul. He lingered at the entrance, fingers tucked into his pockets, a fleeting doubt flickering in his gray eyes. "I heard you were awake," he said. "I decided to check it out for myself." Mia adjusted her position, a flicker of pain crossing her face, yet her resolve remained unshaken. "Victor," she declared, her voice growing more resolute. "Thank you for all things." He dismissed it with a subtle wave, a slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "No need to bring it up, kid. I'm really pleased to see you engaging in conversation. What's the sensation like? Strange?" she confessed, placing her hand over her heart. "However, it's positive. It feels as though I can finally take a deep breath once more." "Good is what we're after," he said, stepping closer. "The doctor indicates that you are progressing well. A few weeks here, followed by rehabilitation. Before long, you'll find yourself racing around the track." Lisa let out a derisive snort. She despises running, yet I'll gladly opt for walking without collapsing. Victor let out a laugh, the sound more buoyant than Mia had anticipated from him. "That seems reasonable. Taking that first step is just the beginning." The atmosphere in the room softened, a gentle stillness enveloping it as the burdens of recent days began to ease, if only slightly. Suddenly, Victor's phone vibrated, and he looked at it with a furrowed brow. "Just a moment," he said as he moved into the hall. Mia caught a glimpse of his deep, resonant voice. "Absolutely, it's gaining traction. Take care of it." Just as the door clicked into place, Lisa arched an eyebrow, curious about what that entails. Mia's curiosity was quickly satisfied. Later that afternoon, a nurse brought in a TV cart for Mia to help her pass the time, and Lisa switched to the local news. The display flickered to life, showcasing a wobbly cell phone recording. Mia stood on that rainy corner, sign in hand, as Victor emerged from the limo. His suit drenched, he knelt down to speak with her. The headline shone brightly, "Tech Tycoon Saves Teen's Life." Captured on film, Mia's mouth fell open in disbelief. "Is that really me?" Lisa gazed, then burst into genuine laughter this time. "It seems you've made quite a name for yourself, darling." The anchor's voice interrupted the flow. Victor Hale, the head of Hale Tech, stepped in to fund the life-saving heart surgery for 17-year-old Mia Carter after he came across her heartfelt appeal on a street corner. A bystander's video has taken the internet by storm, racking up over 2 million views in just 48 hours. Contributions are flooding in for Mia's healing, and Hale's gesture of compassion is igniting a wave of support. A montage unfolded on the screen. Unknown individuals leaving blooms at the medical facility. A GoFundMe total surging beyond $50,000. Individuals sharing their personal narratives using the hashtag HaleHeart. Mia blinked, feeling a rush of emotions flooding her senses. "This is absolutely wild. Absolutely amazing," Lisa exclaimed, gripping her hand tightly. "Observe this, there are those who genuinely care, Mia. Due to your influence." Upon Victor's return, he discovered them captivated by the television, Mia's eyes sparkling with excitement, while Lisa wore a grin that she couldn't quite suppress. He stood still, then let out a low groan. "Blast it. I instructed them to maintain silence." "You're a hero," Mia said, her tone a playful mix of jest and sincerity. "It's impossible to conceal that." "Not my style," he muttered, though a flush crept across his ears, a fissure in his composed exterior. "Regardless, the focus isn't on my experiences. It revolves around you. What follows after this?" "Next?" Lisa inquired cautiously once more. Victor drew a chair closer, settling in across from them. He gestured toward the television. "It has grown beyond our control now. Individuals are contributing financially, indeed, but they are also inquiring about ways to assist others. A team is in the process of establishing a foundation. If that works for you, I can put Mia's name on it."
Mia eyelids fluttered.
"A base? For what purpose?" "For children like you," he remarked. "Healthcare expenses, procedures, anything they require. I have the funds, but you possess the narrative. I thought you might be interested in joining in when you're ready." Lisa felt a surge of tension as her protective instincts took over. "She has just come out of surgery, Victor. She requires rest. Not, I understand." He interrupted, raising his hands. "Take your time. Simply sowing the idea. She is already motivating others. Gaze upon that display." Mia observed intently as the ticker reached $75,000, with flowers accumulating in the lobby shots. Her chest constricted. This time it's not pain but rather something different. Perhaps a sense of purpose. "I want to," she said, her voice steady despite the rasp. "Not at this moment, but certainly, I'm eager to assist." Lisa's expression eased, a glimmer of pride shining in her eyes. "All right," she replied, "but you need to focus on your healing first." "Agreement?" "Agreed," Mia said, casting a quick look at Victor. "You're stuck with me now," he said with a sly grin. "I wouldn't choose it differently." In the week that followed, Mia's recovery picked up momentum. She propped herself up for extended periods each day, taking unsteady strides with the aid of a walker, her breathing becoming more even as her new heart found its rhythm. The hospital transformed into a center of subdued turmoil, journalists lingering at the entrance, contributions pouring in, personnel murmuring about the Hale girl. Victor maintained a careful distance, making only fleeting appearances, yet Mia could feel the weight of his hidden plans brewing just out of sight. One afternoon, while Lisa dozed in the chair, Mia scrolled through her phone. A gift from a nurse after her own was ruined in the rain. The Twitter feed buzzed with posts under the hashtag HaleHeart, featuring a single father expressing gratitude to the fund for his son's chemotherapy, alongside a teacher recounting how her class managed to raise $200 for Mia. Then she spotted it, a video from the hospital security camera, somehow leaked. It depicted Victor in the waiting room on that tempestuous night, exchanging cash with the janitor for the child in room 305. The caption stated he didn't halt at Mia. Who is this person? Mia felt a constriction in her throat. She had always recognized his kindness, but this moment revealed something deeper. She sent him her initial message following the surgery. I watched the video. You are truly remarkable. His response was swift. Simply giving back. Take a break, champ. On the 10th day, Mia was transferred to a standard room, her vitality gradually resurfacing in waves. Victor arrived with a pile of documents, the foundation plans, unrefined yet authentic. Mia Carter Fund, he remarked, pushing them forward for children who are eager to receive them. Are you in? She perused the pages, her name prominently displayed, a declaration of optimism and new beginnings. Indeed, she remarked, a smile spreading across her face. Count me in. Lisa concluded with her characteristic tremor, yet with confidence. You are transforming lives. Mia, she remarked later, her voice heavy with emotion. I feel an immense sense of pride. That evening, the news aired a continuation. The foundation has already pledged $200,000. Mia's hazy image from the hospital bed flickering on the screen. The online platforms exploded with activity. Hashtag Mia Carter Fund is trending alongside hashtag Hail Heart. Victor observed the scene from his office, a rare smile emerging as his assistant provided an update. There's a revolution, sir. Individuals are eager to lend a hand. Excellent, he remarked, reclining slightly. Let's maintain the momentum. In the quiet of the hospital room, Mia succumbed to slumber, the TV casting a soft glow, its sound silenced. She had endured, and now she belonged to a greater narrative, a wave emanating from that drizzly intersection, reaching souls she had never envisioned. Yet, as she drifted into her dreams, a shadow remained, the voice of a reporter on the news, probing into Victor's history, suggesting there was more to the tycoon than met the eye. She remained unaware, yet it approached softly, unavoidably. Mia's new room at home was infused with the scent of fresh paint and a sense of hope, a vivid departure from the sterile sharpness of the hospital. 2 weeks had passed since her discharge, and the small apartment she shared with Lisa had undergone a remarkable transformation. Contributions had supported a thorough cleaning, fresh furnishings, and a bed that remained silent with every shift. Mia reclined against the pillows, her walker nearby, as she leafed through a scrapbook that Lisa had begun. Clippings from the news, cards wishing recovery, images capturing hashtag Hail Heart moments. At times, a dull ache lingered in her chest, yet the rhythmic click of her valves served as a constant reminder. She had accomplished it. Downstairs, Lisa hummed in the kitchen, preparing a meal that was refreshingly homemade for a change. The Mia Carter Fund had launched successfully, with its initial grants already funding surgeries for 3 children throughout the state. Mia's phone buzzed incessantly, messages from Victor with updates, heartfelt notes from families, and even a playful selfie from the boy in room 305, now in remission due to Victor's unassuming kindness. She smiled at that one, her thumb poised over a reply, when the TV in the living room suddenly flickered to life. Mia, you absolutely have to check this out, Lisa called, her voice cutting through the air with a sense of urgency. Mia emerged slowly, relying on the walker for support, and came to a sudden halt. The scene was set for a press conference, complete with a podium, microphones, and a gathering of reporters. Yet silence hung in the air as no one had taken the floor to speak. The ticker announced Victor Hale, the mastermind behind the extraordinary exclusive reveal tonight. Lisa positioned herself beside the couch, her arms folded and her brow deeply creased. What is this regarding? She inquired. I have no idea, Mia said, sinking onto the cushions. Nothing was mentioned by him. The broadcast shifted to a journalist, a woman with a sharp tone and an insightful grin. Victor Hale's transformation from a tech titan to a benevolent benefactor has intrigued the country. But this evening, we delve into the reality behind his unexpected altruism. Insiders reveal that this narrative goes beyond mere inspiration. It resonates on a deeply personal level. Keep your eyes peeled. Mia felt a knot in her stomach. Intimate? Her mind drifted back to Victor's revelation in the hospital. His daughter, Emily, succumbed to leukemia. Was that all there was, or was there something deeper? She sent him a message. Is there a press conference scheduled? What's happening? Silence prevails. Lisa settled next to her, her hand gently placed on Mia's knee. No matter what it is, he has treated us well. That is what truly counts. Sure, Mia replied, yet her gaze remained fixed on the screen. Miles away, Victor lingered backstage at the conference venue, a humble community center he had selected in place of his polished corporate headquarters. His jacket had vanished, sleeves pushed up, tie undone, a man casting off his protective layer. His assistant, Jen, lingered close by, tablet at the ready. Are you certain about this, sir? Once it's released, there's no turning back. I'm certain, he remarked, his voice calm yet soft. They have a right to be informed. She has the right to be informed. Jen acknowledged with a nod, taking a step back as the organizer gestured to him. Victor inhaled deeply, straightened his posture, and stepped confidently toward the podium. The atmosphere crackled with energy as the room filled with the blinding light of cameras and the cacophony of reporters clamoring for attention. Yet, with a simple gesture, he commanded silence, bringing the chaos to a standstill. I'll share my thoughts, he stated. But you need to hear me out first. Returning to the apartment, Mia leaned in, her heart racing. Victor appeared transformed, exposed, and tinged with a hint of anxiety. He cleared his throat, his gaze sweeping over the crowd, and then he started to speak. I am Victor Hale, the CEO of HaleTech, known for my role in funding Mia Carter's surgery. You've encountered the headlines, the hashtags, yet that merely scratches the surface of the narrative. 2 decades ago, I was not a billionaire. I found myself as a struggling mechanic in a small, unremarkable town, married and raising my daughter, Emily. At the age of 15, she fell ill. Leukemia. We were unable to cover the cost of treatment. Without insurance and savings. I pleaded, acquired, and parted with all I had. Fell short. She passed away in a county hospital, and I laid her to rest carrying nothing but remorse.
Mia se bretiched.
Lisa tightened her grip, her eyes brimming with tears. The room displayed on the screen was utterly still, each word hitting with the weight of a stone. Victor persisted, declaring that he had vowed never to allow such a thing to occur again, especially not to anyone he could assist. I fought my way to the top, created HaleTech from the ground up, and earned more than I ever imagined possible. Yet, it failed to mend the void Emily created. I concealed it, toiled, triumphed, acted as if it sufficed. Then I spotted Mia on that corner, clutching her sign, battling in a way that Emily couldn't. It unleashed something within me. I needed to take action. He halted, massaging his jaw, then fixed his gaze directly on the camera. Directly at Mia. Seemed like that was the reality. I'm far from perfect. I am a father who has stumbled before, but I refuse to let that happen again. The Mia Carter Fund does not operate as a charity. It's a commitment. For her, for Emily, for every child who feels the pressure of fleeting moments. That concludes everything. The audience erupted once more, yet Victor took a step back. Completed. As the journalists crowded around, he quietly made his exit through a side door, allowing the narrative to unfold on its own. Mia gazed at the screen, her cheeks glistening with tears. He didn't merely rescue me, she murmured. He rescued himself. Lisa drew her in tightly, her voice heavy with emotion. He is a decent person, Mia, an exceptionally admirable individual. The broadcast shifted to analysts, followed by vintage photographs, showcasing a younger, slimmer Victor alongside a smiling girl who shared his gray eyes. Emily. Mia's phone vibrated with Victor's name lighting up the screen. She opened it, and I hope you're paying attention. I felt compelled to express it verbally. Are you doing well? Her fingers quivered as she typed a response. Absolutely, you are incredible. Thanks for her as well. His response was straightforward. Until tomorrow. The following day, Victor showed up at their apartment, this time without a limo, merely a rented sedan, plain and unremarkable. Mia encountered him at the entrance. Walker exchanged for a cane, her strength increasing with each passing day. Lisa lingered in the background, cradling a tray of coffee, a simple act of hospitality. Mia said with a grin, "I heard you on TV. Grand address. Too big," he murmured, yet a smile danced in his eyes. I needed to express what was weighing on my mind. In the cozy living room, the scrapbook lay open on the coffee table, inviting memories to unfold. Victor turned the pages, stopping at a card from a girl whose chemotherapy he had supported. "This is what it's all about," he stated. "This was your doing, Mia. We initiated it," she clarified, reflecting his words from the hospital. "Just you, me, Mom, and Emily." He nodded, a fleeting darkness crossing his features before dissipating. "Absolutely, Emily would really appreciate you. Resilient and unyielding. Both of you." Lisa placed the coffee gently on the table, her voice a gentle whisper. "I underestimated you, Victor. I apologize. Thank you very much for returning my girl to me." He said not to apologize. "You battled for her. I have just completed writing the check." Mia interjected, "It's more than that. Did you really give me the opportunity to do this?" She gently tapped the scrapbook. "To assist individuals. That's monumental." Victor reclined, savoring his coffee. A unique tranquility enveloped him. "Let's continue the momentum. Currently, the funds stand at $500,000. The upcoming phase involves a nationwide initiative. Medical facilities, healthcare centers, whatever is necessary." Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Count me in. As soon as I'm free from this cane." "Agreed," he stated. As their mugs met with a gentle clink, an unspoken agreement was forged in the stillness. That afternoon, an unplanned press conference took place outside the apartment. The concept proposed by Mia, Victor's transportation management. She positioned herself next to him. "Keep the cane steady." Lisa on her other side. The cameras captured every word as Mia began to speak. Her voice resonated with clarity, even as it quivered slightly. "A month ago, I found myself in a dire situation on a corner. Victor noticed me when everyone else overlooked my presence. Now we are observing others. Children enjoy my company. Families similar to mine. The Mia Carter Fund represents more than mere financial support. It's a beacon of possibility. We will continue moving forward." Next up was Victor, who took the mic. "This is dedicated to Emily, to Mia, and to every parent who has spent restless nights worrying about unpaid bills. We are creating something tangible. Come along with us." The audience erupted in applause, devices recording every utterance. Hashtags have ignited once more. Hashtag Mia Carter Fund, hashtag Emily Hale. Hashtag Hope Lives contributions surged once more, surpassing 1 million by evening. Mia observed the events as they unfolded on her phone, nestled comfortably on the couch. Lisa was there with her. "We accomplished this," she remarked, filled with wonder. "Did you really do this?" Lisa gently adjusted her, placing a soft kiss on her forehead. "My courageous girl." Victor lingered at the door, hesitating before stepping out into the night. "Are you aware of your family now?" He spoke partly to Mia and partly to Lisa. "Absolutely," Mia responded, beaming. "It seems that we are indeed." He departed into the fading light of evening, the city lights streaking by in a vibrant blur. A burden lifted that he hadn't realized he bore. Mia was secure. The fund was flourishing, and Emily's memory resonated in every life they influenced. It wasn't quite redemption, but it was nearly there. Within the confines of the room, Mia drifted into slumber, lulled by the gentle melody of Lisa's humming, while the television echoed their previous conversations. The astonishing reality extended beyond merely Victor's history. It was the result of their creation, a wave of compassion, spreading forth, unyielding,